My name is Magali. I make regular videos on beauty, fashion, travel and lifestyle. So if you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to hit the red subscribe button below this video and subscribe to my channel so you never miss a video. I'm currently in my really beautiful apartment in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. I am staying here for 6 days and I am solo traveling through the city and just experiencing everything that it has to offer. This is pretty much my second international solo trip. I have done Thailand previously. I thought it's time to record a new video in my Travel for Beginners series. So in this video, I'm hoping to cover all of the relevant information for you guys, whether it's booking a flight ticket, visa, where to stay in Kuala Lumpur, what to expect when it comes to food, how to sightsee, how to get around in the city, the safety levels for female travelers, solo travelers, some do's and don'ts, etc. It is going to be a long video, but if you are planning a trip to Kuala Lumpur, especially if you're Indian or especially if you're a female solo traveler, I think this video might be helpful for you. So get like a nice hot drink or something and let's begin. You can get flights to Kuala Lumpur from all of the major cities in India. I flew here on Malindo Airways, which is sort of a low cost, like a budget airline, and the return tickets for my flight costed around 30,000 Indian rupees. That cost is because I was traveling during kind of a peak time just after Diwali, when the holidays are still on and Diwali is celebrated both in India and in Malaysia. And also because my flight tickets were just booked a few weeks before my trip. In case you book in advance, like 1 month in advance, 3 months in advance, whatever, you're almost definitely going to get a cheaper flight. You can get around 20,000 return, or you might get even cheaper if there are any sales going on. It always helps to book in advance if you can plan, because then you get flight deals. Being a low-cost carrier, I did get 30 kgs of checked-in luggage, but I didn't actually get any meal on my flight, though it was a 5.5-hour flight, so I did pre-book a meal. I paid around 260 rupees for it and it was a pretty good meal. After flights, the next most important thing that you need to travel to a foreign country is to find out about its visa specifications. So currently for Indian residents who have an Indian passport, Malaysia offers something called an entry. It's not really a visa, but you need to do the entry form and fill it completely, pay the money from home, and then you need to get that printed out form and show it to the guys at Malaysian immigration. Along with that, you're going to need some more things. You will need to show them bookings for your whole stay here. Hotel, Airbnb or whatever, you'll need bookings in case you happen to be staying with some friends or anything in the city. You will need a proper letter from them. You'll also need to show them your return flight tickets so that you're coming in. You need to show them that you're leaving the country also. And also you'll need to have some money with you in case the immigration guys ask you, because they need to know that you'll be able to support yourself in the city. I had money and they didn't ask me, but it is a requirement, so you do need to have it with you. The entry cost around $23, so I guess that's around 1,600 or so rupees. You need to pay for it online. And the maximum stay you can get with an entry is 15 days. If you want to apply for the entry, I am going to put links to the website down below, as well as a link to a very good blog post I found, which will pretty much tell you how to apply for entry. Like, you'll need a specific photograph and all of that information. I would say make sure to check your entry form multiple times before submitting and paying for it, because later if you find any mistake, you cannot change it. I also had a small problem with my entry form, and the people at my home airport, which is Mumbai, were saying that Malaysia may not let me enter the country. The mistake that I made was my passport has my first name, middle name and surname, and entry they only had 2 places. They said given name, so I assumed that was my first name, and then surname, so I didn't actually mention my middle name on my entry. And the airport guys at Mumbai were saying that they will not let you in the country because it needs to match your passport exactly. So I was very worried, but when I reached Malaysian immigration, he stamped my passport without even asking me any questions or giving me any kind of trouble. But that being said, make sure your name matches exactly what's on your passport so that you avoid any issues like this. Now in the future also, I know to be extra careful about these things. The Malaysian currency is called ringgit. The abbreviation is MYR, and currently it's about 17 rupees to 1 ringgit, but you need to check the rate as you're watching this because this thing fluctuates every single day. I would recommend exchanging some cash from your home country wherever you are. There are banks that will help you exchange money, or in case you don't get to exchange to Malaysian ringgit, bring US dollars because that is something that you'll easily be able to exchange inside the country. I do use my card a lot also when I'm traveling. I have an international debit card. I don't own a credit card, and I use it when I'm at supermarkets, when I'm shopping in the mall, and even when I'm getting a local taxi. It's quite good. They kind of take a slightly higher rate from you than the exchange rate, but that's normal. Even when you're exchanging money, you kind of end up losing some money. That's just how these things work. A lot of people have asked me for a budget for this trip, and the truth of the matter is I'm not like a budgeting kind of person. It's not that I spend too much money. You could say I'm doing like an average trip. It's not super budget, but it's not at all luxury also. But I never keep track of exactly how much is spent. If we are mainly talking about just food and moving around in the city, I think you can easily do it for within 1,000 rupees per person per day. If you're eating fancier meals, obviously it's going to cost more, but if you get meals from like simple restaurants or food courts or even supermarkets have really nice meals. One of my meals have cost me around 200 to 300 most of the time. Also, my room has a kitchen, so I take advantage of that. I bring some ready meals home sometimes, and then I just prepare something easily here. That's a way you can save money. Kuala Lumpur might be slightly more expensive than places like Bangkok, but it's still quite an affordable place. If you live in a big city in India like Mumbai or Delhi, the costs here are not that much higher, so you should be able to move around quite comfortably. So let's talk about where to stay in Kuala Lumpur. Mainly there are 3 options you can choose: hotels, hostels, or places like Airbnb. Hotels are usually more expensive and like they don't really need more of an explanation. You guys know how hotel rooms work. It's usually a small room, there's a bathroom and all. Sometimes there's a kettle. There's not usually a kitchen. Then there are traveler hostels. That would be probably the most budget friendly option, especially if you're a backpacker. You can stay in a dorm room there, which is like a shared room with a lot of different other travelers, and that is like one of the cheapest things to do. Hostels usually have resources for travelers, and they usually have a common kitchen that you have access to, which is quite nice. A good option if you're traveling alone, like in a backpacking style and on a budget. The third option, and the one that I chose for myself, is to book Airbnbs. So Airbnb is just a platform, and you can kind of book different kinds of stays here. You can book, say, a room in someone's house, like if they are offering a room. You can book a full apartment. So both of the places that I booked are like pretty much full studio apartments, because I'm staying in 2 different places. I booked for 3 nights each, and both of the places actually accommodate 2 people. So since I'm alone, I'm paying the full fee, but in case I was with someone, I could have actually split that amount and only paid half of it. You can get different budget stays right from around 1,500 to of course 5,000 rupees per day, and the stays that I chose are around 2,500 to 2,800 rupees per day. I really am very happy with the Airbnbs that I picked. My first Airbnb is so pretty. It's got a full kitchen, it's got a really fancy washing machine and everything. So I really believe it was value for money, because I can make my meals inside, my breakfast inside comfortably. There's all stuff to make like chai coffee already in the room, and then also I could like wash my clothes, detergent and everything is provided. The reason I usually pick Airbnb is the convenience of having these added amenities, like a hotel and all would never give you a full kitchen, and also that you get some unique stays. In case it's your first time using Airbnb, I have a link down below which you can use, and you can get a really nice discount on your first booking. I would highly recommend Airbnb because I have generally had really good experiences. You can search for where you want to stay in the city. You can search according to your budget and according to what facilities you need, and you'll actually find like unique stays. Hotels can be so cookie cutter, like all of them are pretty much the same, the rooms and all, but in Airbnb like each place is different. So that's something that I really enjoy, and to be safe, I tend to go with stays that already have a lot of reviews, because I can see what the travelers before me have said about the place, and then I can feel safe while booking. Kuala Lumpur is rapidly gentrifying, which means like the old buildings are being demolished, new money is coming in, and there are new high-rises everywhere you turn. There are these glamorous high-rises. I'm staying in one of those only. One of the things I love about both my stays is that the security is really good. They actually give you like a key card and stuff, and you know, you can't even enter the lift area of the building without having a key card. And especially like when I'm traveling alone, I don't want to be paranoid about my safety, so I know that like I can come back to my room and I don't have to worry about it. Now everybody says stay in Bukit Bintang area because it's like the central shopping district of Kuala Lumpur, and it's very large, it's very glamorous, and it's very lively. Till like 4 a.m. the roads are crowded and everything, but I wanted to experience a little bit of like that old Kuala Lumpur charm also. So my 2 stays, the first one is in Chowkit area, the second one is at Bukit Bintang. And the thing about Chowkit is, so it does get a little bit lonely at night. I would not recommend so much walking these streets here alone at night, because there aren't being many people on the road. There's a lot of traffic passing by, but the footpaths are empty, just 1-2 more people. So I'm not saying that anything bad will happen, but while I'm here, I'm avoiding walking the streets at night alone. This only applies to the area that my first stay is in, and this was something that I did research of and was aware of before I came, so I'm fine with it. Bukit Bintang being a more livelier place and a place where most of the tourists stay, I guess there won't be that many like self-imposed restrictions, and I can roam around till quite late at night. If possible, get a SIM card when you reach in Kuala Lumpur, because it will really make your life easier. Previously, when I've traveled in foreign countries, I managed to do it without a SIM card by waiting for Wi-Fi and sort of like figuring things out. But this time I got myself a SIM card, and I cannot tell you how much easier it's made my life. The SIM card for 1 week was absolutely not expensive. It was around 500 rupees. I have unlimited data. Because of that, I can Google any food items when I'm outside. I can check Google Maps, and I can also call for taxis. Google Maps is one app I would recommend. Almost everyone has it on their phone. If you don't, download it because it will make your navigation easier. Secondly, download Grab app, because it's the only taxi app that functions in a lot of Southeast Asian countries. Like when I was in Vietnam earlier this year, we had to use Grab, and now in Kuala Lumpur also there is only Grab. There used to be Uber, but there's no Uber now. There's Grab, and it works pretty much like Uber. You can book a cab and you can pay in cash, or you can directly connect your card, which is what I've done. There's pretty good public transport also in the way of like monorails and stuff. It's more expensive than public transport in Mumbai, but it's very clean and it's quite safe, and the city is pretty well connected. If you're traveling alone, monorail is also a good option. If you're 2 or 3 people, most of the time the cab is kind of easier and cheaper because it will reach you from one place to another directly. Sometimes with monorail you have to change. That being said, if you're traveling during peak hours where people are going to work or getting off work, the cab does go expensive also, and you're likely to get caught in traffic, so you can figure out what option works best for you. There are a lot of different cultures here in Kuala Lumpur, so it definitely is a foodie's paradise. If like me, you eat everything, if you eat like all meat, all seafood, you'll really enjoy yourself, because you'll get so many different cuisines. Like you'll get Malaysian, Chinese, especially like from the Hainan province and all, because that's where like the Chinese immigrants came from. You get Middle Eastern food. I've gotten questions about what is the scene like for vegetarians, and the first 2 days when I was in Genting Highlands, I had a lot of vegetarian companions in my group, and I have to say honestly, it can get a little bit difficult if you are vegetarian. In many places, like even if the dish is with vegetables. There will be some fish in it, there will be some fish oil in it, there will be some chicken stock in it, so that doesn't bother someone like me. But in case you are pure vegetarian or whatever, you won't be able to eat that. There are Indian restaurants in the city. You can just check Google Maps, and there are Indian restaurants that are pure vegetarian also. It's just that of course you have to go searching for them, so that's an added inconvenience. In the markets you'll get a lot of different fruits and all, so that's a good option. And then also there are good grocery stores. I went to a grocery store here. You can buy vegetarian food at a grocery store, and if you end up staying in like an Airbnb like me, get one with a small kitchen, so then you can kind of whip up some of your own meals. Now I'm going to again broach on the topic of safety, especially for like a solo woman traveler. I mentioned gentrification again. So wherever these new buildings are coming up, the area is getting cleaner and the area is getting safer. When I recently went on a walking tour also in the city, the guide was telling me how like in Chinatown, even 5 years ago, it was less safe. But now as the area gets cleaned up and gets fancier, it also gets safer. So it's a pretty safe city. I feel that it's safer than India, even safer than Mumbai maybe, but since it's not my city and I'm not completely familiar with it, I will err on the side of caution and I will avoid lonely streets and all of those common sense measures that I guess we have to take. With clothes, it's not so much of an issue. I would say that try to avoid like wearing really skimpy stuff, because it is a Muslim country and it is kind of a conservative country. It's more liberal than India, but it's more conservative than places like Thailand. So you need to be respectful of the locals and cover up to some extent. I think that if you wear shorts and all, that's totally fine. A lot of locals wear shorts. But otherwise, just wear comfortable clothes that are good for tropical warm weather. And remember that if you're visiting places of worship like temple or whatever, to actually cover yourself up better that day, they usually request that you even cover your ankles. So you need to wear like a full length skirt or jeans. And also, like in case you're wearing a sleeveless dress or whatever, try to have a stole or a jacket to carry with you to like cover your shoulders and arms. So I guess the final thing that I'm going to talk about is how to sightsee in the city and what to experience. There are some really touristy things that you can do if you come with kids and all. There's like a mini water world called Aquaria KLCC and all that I think children would really enjoy. There's a good food scene to explore, and this is really famous South Indian temple outside the city called Batu Caves, which you can make a trip to and come back in just a couple of hours. You can also make day trips to places like Malacca. There are a few different websites where you can book tours. Now, I prefer to sort of avoid the very touristy places. That being said, I would also like to see what the fuss is about. So the main two tours that I did on my trip are, one day I did this really long walking tour where I think I walked for around like 12-13 kilometers, but I had a really interesting guide. I vlogged that whole day, so you can watch it. I really would recommend the tour. You just have to be like fit to walk a lot, but I got like the whole experience and explanation of different parts of Kuala Lumpur by a local. So that is sort of off the beaten path kind of thing, and most of the commercially designed tours are not going to give you a similar experience. I'm also doing a very touristy tour called the KL Hop On Hop Off bus. These hop on hop off buses are there in many countries. I saw it in Vietnam also. So you generally pay like a ticket for either 24 hours or 48 hours. It's fairly affordable. I got the ticket for under 900 rupees. The bus kind of runs through a lot of the touristy places in the city. There are stops mentioned, and you can get off on any bus and you can get back on the next bus, because like the buses are running on the route. So that way you can pass all of the main tourist destinations and you can decide which ones you want to actually visit. You can visit them. The others you can just watch them. So if you're feeling hot, there is the bottom part of the bus with air conditioner, and if you want to get a more fun experience and you're willing to brave the weather, you can go in the top part of the bus, which is open, and then you can kind of just take in the city better. I also vlogged that experience, so click here if you would like to watch it. That was it for my Malaysia travel guide. I do believe that we covered quite a lot of ground. So in case you're planning a trip here, I hope this is useful for you. And if you were not planning a trip here, maybe now you're thinking of it. It's a nice place. I would definitely recommend it. You can come here. I shared everything that I thought was relevant, but in case you feel that I left out any information or you have any questions about my experience, please leave a comment down below and I will get back to you. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. If you enjoyed it, of course give it a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.